All right, up next in the classes, it's the good old fighter. So pretty much it's like the stereotypical fighting class for D&D. So using the good old 2024 version of the player's handbook, kind of going through it, and now each of the character classes, like iteration, like the 2014, has like the skill table. You have like your proficiency bonus, like right here, like your level proficiency bonus, and all the abilities you get, and like your second wind weapon mastery. So pretty much the fighter is designed to get in there, wade in, and do as much damage as possible and everything, and sort of like the barbarian. So those two, like in a sense, kind of shine in combat and everything. So you couldn't go wrong with either one. Now, typically, like most people tend to veer lately is more towards the barbarian class. That seems to be the more popular of the two. Traditionally, I would say like the fighter is the more popular one, because if you look back at like the previous iterations, like in second edition, there really was no barbarian class. I mean, you could use like a fighter and be like the barbarian as a fighter, but like there wasn't necessarily a true barbarian class in second edition. It wasn't until third edition that the splintered off and everything. So now, where the barbarian shines is like with his rage ability, and pretty much adding extra damage to his like attack and everything. Where the fighter specializes is getting like a bunch of extra attacks and everything. So as they level up and everything, all the way up to like level 20, as my cat wants to join in. Yes, looks like we got the little cat, the Khajiit fighter. Yes, the little Khajiit fighter. Yeah, I know. You want attention, huh? You know I'm making videos. Alright, anyway, with like extra attacks, like you get like at level 5, you get an extra attack, and then like you get like a second extra attack at level 11, and then at level 20 you get a third 3 extra attacks. Yeah, maybe you gonna go get your brother? Yeah, you gonna go get Aiden? Yeah, go get him, go get him. So 3 extra attacks. So that's where kind of like the fighter makes up for like versus the barbarian, where the barbarian like takes his pretty much his axe, lots of damage, 1 attack and everything. The fighter kind of makes up for it and like takes like maybe like think of like Drist versus like Wolfgar in like the Ari Salvatore series. Both are effective fighters. Wolfgar more of like the barbarian, Drist more of like the fighter. Both were effective warriors and everything, just different approaches and everything. So that's how you could kind of differentiate between the barbarian and the fighter. So now, like again, they have like different subclasses that you get at level 3. So it seems to be that like level 3 is like the beginning of like where you start to branch out and start to really like mold in the character, pretty much flesh out the kind of character that you're going to get. So like some of the classes you got is like first one is Battle Master. So pretty much like the Battle Master is pretty much like that, like somebody who like is learning a bunch of different extra fighting styles, and, like with the feats and stuff. And then like another one you got is like the Champion, which is kind of like a slightly different, but like same kind of concept. So like the battle is like a Battle Master. The master sophisticated in battle maneuvers. My pronunciation is always going to suck and everything, but bear with me. Champion is pursue physical excellence in combat. So, like for instance, some of the pictures can are worth 1,000 words. So, like your battle master, you can see here, like maybe someone who's good at archery or whatever. Now, they wouldn't necessarily be probably as good at archer as, like, say, the ranger or whatever, but like that's kind of like this same kind of concept. So now, here you got like a picture for like the champion, and then like what's cool is the Eldritch Knight, which is the third one. So in essence, you could, in a sense, play a fighter wizard type of deal with the Eldritch Knight. So like that's one way the fighter can get into like the magic aspect and everything and become like a caster himself. So that's kind of an interesting concept. And of course now they do have like the fourth one, like the Psy Warrior. So like introducing like psionics and everything. So now like what comes to mind for me is the adventure books, like the Lone Wolf adventure books that I made like a video of like way back when. So now Joe Deaver was the author of the Lone Wolf adventure books, and he based it off his D&D campaign set, which was 40 years ago, back in like 1984, when he first released the first Flight from Darkness adventure book. And like I said, he based it on his whole D&D campaign, and like he introduced like a psionics with the Kai Lords, and like you play as Lone Wolf, who is like the sole survivor of the in a sense the psionic Kai monastery and everything. So this is where the Psy Warrior subclass comes into the concept and everything. So you have like a pretty much in a sense split down the middle. You got two with like the Battle Master and the Champion going purely like hack and slash type of deal. And Eldritch Knight and the Psy Champion, you can kind of deviate into more of like the spell casting realm of things. So you have like those different options, and so it, like pretty much like I said, level 3 is pretty the beginning of where you're really starting to get like the awesome abilities, and really starting to flesh out that character and everything. So it all depends on like what kind of campaign you're playing. Like, are you traditionalist and you always have to start at level 1? Or are you going to run like one of the adventure books where you do start off at level 1? Now, of course, there's like called Another Deep that you start off at level 3, or like you could do what like my group did when we first got together and everything, is run a campaign through Candlekeep Mysteries, and we started off at level 3 to kind of like get that subclasses and kind of get the abilities and stuff and everything. So it all depends. Or like you could also do like a high level campaign, run like Vecna Eve Ruin, start out everyone off at level 10, and so like it all depends on you. But with the fighter, some of like the big things is, like I said, the subclasses, like starting at level 3, you got like two different types of branches. You got your two like with the Eldritch Knight and the Psy Champ, like the Psy Champion, the Psy Warrior. They tend to gear more towards like the arcane side of things, or like psionics and stuff. The Psy Warrior, or you could gear more towards like the truly hack and slash warrior type with like the Champion and the Battle Master. So now I think it would depend on what kind of group you're in and everything, and how you might want to play the fighter and everything. So if you're in a group that consists of like a lot of like melee or like in the ranged characters, and you might not have like a lot of spellcasters. So maybe you have like a barbarian, a paladin, and like you might have say like a druid or rogue, and like that you're playing a fighter as like the fifth character. You might like oh hey, we're kind of weak on our arcane magic, so I might switch my gear my character more towards the Eldritch Knight or maybe the Psy Warrior, so that way we can maybe start getting at least a little bit of like arcane magic in our group and everything. Of course, if you're playing maybe like a traditional group where you have like a wizard or a sorcerer or whatever, that purely arcane spellcaster, you have like a purely divine spellcaster like a cleric or a druid, and then like you might have like like a rogue, and so like your fourth player, maybe like you have like a bard or something, yeah, or maybe like a ranger as like the fourth player. You being like the primary melee character with like being the fighter, you might want to gear more towards like the Champion or the Battle Master and everything, being the purely melee kind of character that's in the group and everything. So now, is there any right way to play the character? Now, you could be like the first example I used not have much arcane spellcasters, or maybe no one, and you still gear towards like the battle master or the champion or anything. It all depends on like your group, your how like campaign you're running, and like how you actually want to play the character. So like you can, like I said, there's two main overall branches with the four subclasses, and but like each one does have their own distinct flavors. Like the battle master and like the champion kind of branch off slightly different and everything, and the same thing with side warrior and like the eldritch knight and everything. So again, it kind of depends on like what kind of campaign you're playing, your group, like what kind of other characters you're playing, how you want to play the character, and like so there's many different factors that go into playing an actual fighter and everything. There's of course there's no right way or wrong way to play a character. I would say the only right way to play a character is how you want to approach it in whatever campaign and like whatever kind of character that you want to play. So this is kind of like an overview of the fighter class as I continue to go through the rest of these classes that are in the handbook.